The following newly released video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No.
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz. In a newly released video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one: concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly, picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, Sid, what's wrong with it? Improper way with it. There's no such thing as an improper way.
You gonna tell me my job, bro?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the law?
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration? To profile, I use the seatbelt as a reason to profile.
Hold on a second, sir. Do me a favor, take out your keys. Guys, you can record.
For what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What are you calling supervisor? I want to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we are getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardez Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses, the N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 and 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they could never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Mic check, mic check. This is West Wednesday number 401. The West Coalition has been fighting for justice for Tyrone West for 401 weeks and for all victims of police violence. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. So, just like my brother Ben said, we have been now fighting for 401 weeks, 2,807 days, nonstop, not just for my big brother Tyrone West, but for all the victims of police brutality. And as you saw the video that just played and displayed, a brutal, officer that is still actively working. He's a supervisor. He is one of the 15 or more killer cops that brutally murdered my brother. He was the first one on July 18, 2013, for weeks, and he was accompanied by his partner at the time, which was David Chapman. And the attack on my brother was real brutal. And it's to the point that I was so at a loss for words for what's going on with everything in the George Floyd trial and seeing what's going on and, getting different testimonies and things like that, or how he basically was executed. It's just sad. So it's like every time, as a family member, you see or you hear about someone being murdered, brutalized, you're traumatized, so you instantly think of your loved one. So I was to the point I couldn't even call my potential guests back to give them the information. I'm like, you know what, this is too much. Let me get my mind together because this is a whole lot. It's just way too much. At the end of the day, I think about the West family, my family, and how active we were from day one. We didn't miss a beat. We didn't wait till day 2, day 3. We were out there literally when my brother got murdered. Day 1, when I say July the 18th, we are literally, when I got that gut feeling, unfortunately, we didn't get that call nobody dressed to get. So having me being on both sides of actually getting a call about a loved one being murdered and not getting a call, both of the ordeals are horrible and disgusting. But the fact that when my brother Tyrone West was murdered, we didn't get any call. We didn't get any call to me, and I always say it was a call from the Lord. I believe in God, and it was basically the way how close me and my brother Tyrone West has been from day one. Literally, my brother helped raise me. So he was just more than just a big brother to me. But like I said, looking at what happened to George Floyd and why everybody is watching this horrible trial go on, and my expectations are really low. I just really feel like, in my opinion, that Derek is going to get off with bloody murder or a smack on the wrist. If he get anything, it's going to be a smack on the wrist. Just like the officer that went in the quote unquote wrong apartment. A man is eating ice cream, literally on his couch and minding his business. And you can actually go in the wrong house and say you fear for your life type of thing. And you kill somebody? Like, are you kidding me? And I think she got like 10 years, some foolishness. Like, you gotta be kidding me. It's just way too much. So that's why my spirits are really down right now with what's looking on. And I have to say, let's be clear, it's not just about the killer cops. Yeah, they play a major role, but they wouldn't do that if they wasn't so protected. Who are they protected by? They are protected by everyone. They're protected by the state's attorney's office. They're protected by the medical examiner's office. They are protected by judges. They are protected by so many entities that need to all go down. All go down. It's just disgusting to me. And as a family that was in hope and like believing that the truth comes out, everybody's going to see it and trying to have hope in the damn system that is designed to actually do what it's due to wipe us out, to have no remorse for us, to always criminalize us on every level. And as I was watching the news this week, I want to first say my heart goes out to the massacre, the bloody massacre that happened at Royal Farms by the hands of, I think I'm saying his name is Mr. Green, Josiah Green. Josiah Green actually murdered him. How do Josiah Green look? Who knows? Haven't seen his picture yet. I wait for them. They won't even post his family. Okay? They're posting statements from the family members saying, from his family members saying that they're sorry about the tragedy. Because at the end of the day, I feel sorry for that family too, because not only did he kill other innocent people, he actually murdered his mother and father. But my whole point of talking about all this, and I believe, and I'm just going to say it, I'm going to throw it out there, I believe that he is a Caucasian suspect. This is what they do when Caucasians kill us. They can do the most heinous crimes ever. It's going to be washed up and wiped away as if they do nothing. It is disgusting and very disturbing to me. But anytime we do anything, all you see is us all day long. That's all you see every time you turn. And then they make sure they get the worst picture. The worst picture. They're not going to get a picture of the suspect if they were in their cap and gown graduating from school. No, they're going to get a mug shot, and the mug shot, and the worst mug shot that they can get. They're going to go back, and I think about, my heart goes out, and I'm so sorry, because I'm going to be all over. I'm going to be everywhere tonight, because that's how my mind is thinking. It's way too damn much. So I think about Kevin Cooper. Kevin Cooper was basically murdered in his mother's face. A teenage baby boy literally was having an episode where family members basically was in a terrible car accident, and he was dealing with, the loss of having a loved one not being there no more. That's traumatizing on all levels for adults. So I can imagine a teenager, going through this. So his mom, Greta, beautiful queen, and shout out to her, because this sister's putting in work and doing stuff that we never asked to do. We never asked to do on this side, but unfortunately, and however, we are. But his mom basically just said, well, you know what, at the time, I believe that she was a correctional officer. So she figured, you know what, even though I'm a correctional officer, still let me call my sisters and brothers in blue. Even though I'm a correctional officer, I'm still an officer. Let me call 911, have them just come out to my son because he's throwing a little tantrum. A tantrum, pretty much, a tantrum. And all I know is that if Kevin Cooper was white, if his mom was white, he would have survived. He wouldn't even be dead. Let's be crystal clear. But for the fact that, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, the fact that they murdered this teenager right in front of his mother's face while she was holding her grandbaby, a baby. You murder a mother's child in her face. In her face. In her damn face. Let that settle on your hearts right now. In her face. Okay, so every time she might close her eyes, that's the image she probably see. And I pray that she don't. I pray that somewhere in her heart that she can find good moments and commemorations of her son. But to have your baby murdered in your damn face. And the crazy part, let's be clear. In this case, the signal was called off. They actually asked the officer to leave because it was fun. They told him, okay, you can leave. But no, he had a taste of blood. He wanted to kill. He wanted to kill. And when these officers, when these bullies with badges get that urge and they feel like on this day, you know what, I'm freaking pissed off at the world, or I'm mad at my wife, or I'm mad because of this, I'm mad because of that, or I just want to kill somebody black. I just want to kill. I want to get killed. I want to start getting honors. I want to start getting promotions. So let me just kill. Let me just kill right now. They do it because they can. But the fact that they went all the way into this baby boy, that they couldn't find, because he didn't have a criminal record. These dirty devils, and this is my point of bringing this up, these dirty devils had the nerve, y'all, to go and I'll never forget, because his mother been on West Wednesday many times. We done been in different cities talking about our loved ones, but I take careful notes of pain. It's horrible, but I take definitely notes of pain because I'm like taking notes and seeing like, damn, did this ain't happen with my family? Oh, they did the same thing to this family type of thing. But what was interesting and that was unheard of, she said these devils had the nerve, y'all, to go look into her baby's school record where he was in maybe, I want to say, the first or second grade, and he tossed a pencil at either a student or a teacher. Just like some foolishness, some real straight up BS. And they used that in freaking court to say, oh, this is why. And all he was doing was holding a damn broomstick, and you murder him. You murder him, you stinking murderers. I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. So if they do that to a baby, right? A baby in front of his mother, and then now the world wanna wonder why Tamir Rice mother's going off. Go off, sis. I got your back. Cuss them all out. Call them out. Go off. Because until you guys feel that pain, you will have no idea of what we go through. What we go through, rather. And I, God forbid, I don't want to feel the pain of losing a child. I know how it is to lose a brother. I know how I feel to lose my cousin. I even know how I feel to have my mother die. My father died. You get what I'm saying? But I don't ever want to feel that pain of losing a child. That is horrible. But so my heart goes out. But I said all this to say, if they're not getting any accountability in these cases, why am I manipulating my own mind and brain and thinking something's going to happen in my brother's case? We heard about India, beautiful India, someone that served y'all, someone that served for this country, a vet, a beautiful young vet actually was murdered in a 7-Eleven parking lot. And no, it didn't stop there. They left her children to be an orphans, okay? She had her baby in the back seat of the car that was a few months old. She was letting her baby visit his father, right? And not only did they murder her, they murdered her poor father. Poor father, but the way they did it, that was their suspect. They didn't even try to wait. They knew what they was doing. They shot that car up. And you wonder why my sister Gina is going the hell off. We don't hear about the murders that are happening to these sisters, say her name. We know about Corinne Gay, who was actually murdered in her house. Murdered in her house. So I go back to say, with this story of this maniac Joshua, or Josiah Green, who we don't even know how he looked at. The media makes me sick. I'm just going to honestly say it. Because the media, there's so many attributes that play a big cause and why we do not get accountability for black and brown folks. And the media plays a big role because they work for the goddamn police too. Whatever the police say, because early on, when my brother first was murdered, they didn't have any dirt on my brother. What did they do? They went and pulled out his record 10 years ago. My brother wasn't on any outstanding warrants or anything when he was murdered on July 18, 2013. Okay? He wasn't on any out. He wasn't breaking the law. He wasn't doing anything. They even lied and said, oh, we found some drugs in the vehicle. They never found drugs. None were never tested, never submitted, none. And even out the killer Ruiz that you guys see, this maniac that's now a sergeant, out of his mouth, where did you find the drug? You said he had Mr. West had drugs when he was on the stand testifying. Where did you get these drugs from? Out of his mouth, he said, well, I heard about it on the news. Like, are you freaking kidding me? This is what they get away with, and I blame not only them, I blame these damn lawyers too. Because sometimes when family choose lawyers, they send us down dead end roads too. Because all they worrying about is getting their 3/4 or 3/3, whatever percentage that they get. That's all they care about. They're not even really worried about true accountability. Because it's not their loved one blood. All they worrying about, okay, it's a case, I'm gonna get
It's
this
7
amount of money.
o'clock.
They're not worrying about, they worrying about dollars. And it's just really sad and freaking disgusting. And you expect the families not to be enraged. You expect for us to just sit back and keep letting our loved ones get murdered. And last but not least, I think about my cousin, Tavon Anderson, who when my brother was first murdered, Tavon Anderson was out there in the streets with me, screaming for accountability. He was going. I got videos of him at City Hall testifying, like, why they do that to my cousin? Like, asking questions that day when they had Lieutenant Colonel Russell come in. And basically, because he's a black man or whatever, try to pull a black card with us. Yeah, I'll never forget you. Everybody want to say, oh, he's such a good lieutenant and he's for the black family. He's full of, you know what? That's what he's full of. Sugar, honey, iced tea. I said it. Because you don't come into a family house and you know we're lying detectives and you know all the corruption, all the dirt before you even enter the damn house. Before my brother's autopsy was even done, him, Detective Delgado, and another white detective come in. And as soon as my family started asking violent questions, Tavon Anderson was the first one. Why didn't y'all call his sister? She right here. What did the house Negro want to do? He wanted to go break down a prayer. No, don't treat my family like that. He wanted to volunteer and say, well, you know what, guys, I can come and fry chicken for you. That's insulting. We don't want your damn chicken, like I told his ass. I want to fry chicken with Tyrone West. And the sad part for me to learn that Anthony Anderson family went through that same disgusting, disgraceful, distasteful trauma. You know, they actually told me that he actually fried chicken for them for the funeral. Like, this is what he did. Like, this some bull crap. If you're for black people and you say all this and I'm for the black people, and that's what he did, y'all know, hey, I'm here. I'm one of y'all. That's how he was talking to my family. I'm one of y'all. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be transparent. Check it out. I'm gonna make sure we follow every lead. We're gonna be transparent with your family. And at the same breath, you let the lying detective Delgado pull me outside by myself away from my family as if I was stupid, but I held my own because Detective Delgado, while he got him talking to my family, acting like he's being transparent and pulling the black card. I'm black like y'all, and I'm gonna make sure y'all get account all this foolishness, the lies, okay? While he's doing the black lies, okay? Meanwhile, the white cop, the white detective got me on the front, lying his ass off, talking about, oh, you know what, Miss Jones, I want to let you know we found some drugs in your vehicle. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, where did you find them? Did y'all put them in there? Because they damn sure ain't belong to me, and they damn sure ain't belong to my brother. And that's exactly what I said to his lying ass. And he said, well, I'm just letting you know your car's going to be put on the drug hold. I said, I don't give a damn about a car. I want to know who murdered my brother. Let me go back in there with my family. That's what I want to know. And then he try to ask me, Miss Jones, did your brother have any health issues going on? I said, hell no. Do you have any health issues? I said, my brother just got a physical 2 weeks ago. You want me to give you the paperwork? You want me to give you the doctor number? Because I went with, we just got a promotion at his job, and they wanted to do a physical on him or whatever was required by his job because he was going to be now lifting heavier things. He just got a physical. God is good. Do you want that? Oh, no, I'll come back to you if I need that. So they knew what they were going to say. And then they bring me back in with my damn family to tell us what the autopsy was going to say that wasn't even performed yet. Here it goes. They like, hey, well, Mr. West, he's at the Baltimore medical exam. And Tavon, again, my cousin, that was murdered on January the 20th, saying, well, why didn't y'all call us? And they was like, look, this is not CSI. We don't do that. And we wanted to make sure that was Mr. West. We wanted to run all his fingerprints and all that stuff, really make sure it was him. And we want to make sure he didn't have a dead body in the trunk. That's why I'm like, all this bull crap. Like, who are you talking to? But I said all that to say, they nearly said that, okay, Mr. West's autopsy is going to be performed around 12:30, between 12 and 2:30. Before he said around those hours, we're gonna do it. They're gonna do an autopsy report, and what we're trying to do basically is eliminate stuff. We want to make sure Mr. West didn't have any heart issues. We want to make, because we know it was a hot day. We want to make sure none of those were contributing factors to Mr. West's death. And I'll be damned. That's exactly what they came back with, the BS 154 days later. Not the next day, 154 days later. They even went so far, they so crafty and wicked. When we actually tried to get my brother's body, we paid the funeral home. I'll never forget, bless my brother's daughter heart. She paid for her father's funeral out of her damn pocket off the top. Because at the time, my brother did not have life insurance or health insurance because we didn't expect for him to get murdered, and we just didn't want to think or talk about that kind of stuff. We like, okay, we got time for that. But unfortunately, I'm going to keep it real. He had no life insurance on him. But his beautiful daughter said, you know what? That's my dad. I got it. Don't worry about it. Kicked out 10 G's just like that. She picked up her pocketbook, wrote a check out. We went straight to the funeral home, got the funeral home, just like the medical examiner officer advised us. As soon as you get your funeral home, people, they can get your brother body, but we're not gonna let you see your brother. We're not a funeral home. We're not a morgue. We're not a funeral home. We just hold the body, but you have to get your funeral home. Long story short, when I say immediately, his daughter paid for his funeral. I'm talking about the same day my brother was murdered. Literally the 19th, we were at Brown Funeral Home. She wrote the check out. We got the funeral, everything paid for. Everything paid for. Let's be clear. And we paid. So long story short, The funeral home called my family back and say, well, Miss Jones, I have something to tell you. It's kind of odd. We're like, what? They're like, the medical examiner's office won't let us transport his body. We're like, why not? It was like, they're saying that they don't release bodies on the weekend. We're like, what you talking about? Like, little my brother is killed on a Thursday. This is Friday. We're just trying to get his body removed because y'all told us y'all doing an autopsy and things like that today. So why can't we have him shipped over to the funeral home while choosing like they asked us? Long story short, they hid my brother's body for 5 goddamn days, and immediately my family was on it. We told them, don't put no embalming fluid on them, in him, don't do anything. Literally, I said I didn't get a chance to pray with my brother. We wasn't called. We didn't get a chance to get a call from Good Sam or anything. Long story short, moving forward, I was able to convince the funeral home not to actually put no embalming fluid on my brother. To actually, before anything got started, when they got that call, I said, when the medical examiners call you guys and tell you they're going to transport my brother, please give me a call. Here's my number. Immediately they called me. I was like, oh, they're going to have your brother here by 3:30 today. Man, my family was there for 3 hours waiting. And the interesting part, when my brother's body got there, who brought his body in? Police officers. We see police officers sitting in the funeral home. We're looking like, what the hell they doing in there? And meanwhile, I was crafting, I was able to convince the funeral director to basically, I said, don't touch my brother. Can I please just go back there and pray on him real quick? I said, because the people on Kitmore Causeway said we was going to have a closed casket because they beat my brother so bad and they let a 320-pound man sat on his back, knee in his back while he was in a hard top position, his knee and foot on his neck, knee in his back, kneeling on my goddamn brother. So you think I don't feel no type of way when I hear about what Dirk did to George Floyd? Are you freaking kidding me? We live this every single day. We feel this pain. When I heard people say my brother said he couldn't breathe, do you think I didn't feel it when Eric Gardner said the same damn thing live? That's why when I saw Eric Gardner getting choked out, I went to his family. I went to New York. We got on the bus. We went there immediately and stood in solidarity with Eric Gardner's family. And what they did with the medical examiner's office in this case, got them damn killers off. They said Eric was so unhealthy, he was obese. He was a ticking time bomb. He might have been into a burger and just had a heart attack. Foolishness, as if we're stupid. They said my brother had a bad heart. Lying devils. My brother was the most healthiest man in my family. But like I said, they hid his body. And then Pamela Southpole, she didn't take any pictures. All she took was ID photos. When I talk about ID photos, I'm talking about toe tags. I'm talking about just stuff like that. Was his hospital robe? None of all the bruises. My brother's body looked like a train track. All you saw was train track marks from the batons all up and down his back. I saw boot prints in his back, his chest, and his neck, like boot prints were still left. Boot prints. Boot prints. It's imagine seeing your loved one like that, and they don't think I'm gonna fight their asses. Oh my God, they just don't know. They just don't know. And as the more time get in between, and they think that I'm not gonna hold somebody accountable, the devil is truly alive. I'm gonna stay on it until we get accountability. I don't give a damn if it takes 20 years, but like I said, I get irritated when somebody tells me, oh, well, this saturation limit expired. Well, we know that's not on murder. There's no saturation limit on murder. So let's be clear of that. So I don't care, but until we reopen all these goddamn cases and throw these killer cops in a cell block, we're going to keep on seeing more Jewish Floyd. We're going to keep on seeing many more Breonna Taylors, okay? We're going to keep on seeing many more India Capers. We're going to keep on seeing many more Kareem Gaines. We're going to keep on seeing more Jamal Taylors, more Anthony Anderson, more, the list just goes on. It's too many damn names. Too many names. We're going to keep on seeing more Dale Brands, Gary Gray Hopkins. We're going to keep seeing many more victims. If we don't stop it, and how I think we're going to do that, to me, I feel like the only solution is knock it down, build it back up. Because meanwhile, they're going to keep playing this Doug and Pony show with us. They're going to keep trying to convince us time after time that, oh, when we get this reform, with this piece of legislation, this is going to stop a monster. It's not going to stop them, Martha. Yeah, I was with, let's repeal this killer officer Bill of Rights. Let's just knock it down. I call it the officer killer rights. But they ain't even do nothing. Of course, I knew they wouldn't, but they watered it completely down. How do you water something down that had 90% of people saying, you know what, this needs to be gone? At first, many years ago, the numbers grew like we had maybe 40% of people saying, let's get rid of it. But we went from 40% literally to 90% of folks saying, get rid of it. Don't add nothing to it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. And what they do, they just water it down. And that's what they're doing. So, like I said, back to my point, whenever the suspect is white, whenever the victims are white, they get true transparency, true accountability, but they leave us just here to get murdered. They vilify us. It's just horrible and disgusting. And meanwhile, the news is playing this game. Meanwhile, all you keep saying about Marilyn Mosby and her husband. I'm sick of hearing about Marilyn Mosby and her husband. I don't care at this point. And they mad because they're saying, oh, she said something about she wanted to, she wasn't going to prosecute low-level crimes, and she should. Nobody should. Nobody should. And then they trying to blame, oh, that's why this homicide rate been off the hook before she even got in office. But like I said, because of complexion, you get a true connection. Just remember that. So as we think about all this stuff, they went from the white suits, which we call the Ku Klux Klan, to the Blue Klux Klan. And now, with all the Trump and the Trump era, we have the Blue Trump Klan. So it's just sad. We got all these entities, these devils that we're actually fighting, that we're actually trying to hold people accountable. And before they do that, that's not going to happen. They will wipe you completely out before they let anything happen. And last but not least, and I'll open up the floor. The night my cousin was murdered, executed, brutally murdered, was on inauguration day on the 20th, but literally the 19th. Literally, I was just on the news with the ACLU that came out with the damning report of 36,000 complaints from Baltimore City Police Department officers. And then they mentioned Ruiz as being one that had over 18 complaints. We only need about 6. And I'm like, 18? And what about the ones that were too scared to say, you know what, I'm not going to give them my information because I don't want the retaliation coming to me and my family. If I sign my name down on this dotted line with my address, all my personal information, but meanwhile, you never see Killer Ruiz information. All you see is where he working. All they show is the killer cop's address of their job, but they never show their house address. But meanwhile, on all the documents, the legal documents, all they show Tawana Jones, my whole address, everything, where to find me, where to come kill me. But meanwhile, Killer Ruiz, they just had him listed as Northeast Police District. That's not his goddamn house, but that's how they play us. That's how they play us. And then even when we go to testify, when you're sworn and they ask you in front of everybody, they don't care if they got hitters in the damn courtroom watching and writing your address and information up, they ask you, say your name and where you live at. That should be illegal. What the hell I want everybody to know where I live at? Let's talk about where these goddamn killer cops live at that ain't even from this damn city that comes in, kill us, vilifies, and then go back home. Go back to Prince George's County or wherever the hell they live. Let's talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. So I didn't mean to take up so much of time. I didn't mean to ramble. But at the end of the day, not only am I holding up my brother Tyrone West, I'm holding up all the victims of police brutality and murder. And I'm also holding up my cousin Tavon Anderson's name. And like I said, I feel like somebody's out here purged. Just like they minimize, and I believe it to be a white killer, Joshua Green. And this brutal, like you can't even go. A beautiful queen is waiting to go into William Farms to get a drink before she go to work to start her day. And she's gunned down in her car. And you got people gunned down that's at the cash register, all this stuff. And then not talking about this. But meanwhile, and then they want to talk about the conversation of mental health. Once they start having this conversation, but what about when Korryn Gaines was killed? They didn't want to have that conversation about mental health then. They didn't want to talk about that when my brother was just executed, none of that. But anytime, like I said, the victim is white or the suspect is white, you're going to get a different outcome, and something's wrong with that. We need to change it. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mike. We have a couple of comments on Facebook and YouTube. Charlene says, all skin folks ain't kin folks. Hillary on Facebook says, blue and black crime and the blue code of silence are both real, and we all know it. The blue code extends to the whole legal/criminal injustice system. It was true 8 years ago, and it is still true today. Charlene again says, Eric Gardner and Tyrone West could not breathe. And then on YouTube, we have AC saying, say her name, India Kager, Corin Gaines, open all the cases, justice for Tyrone West. They have cookie cutter reports that they use. The cops, the medical examiners, all of them are crooked. Not everyone reports police brutality due to fear of retaliation. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And I want to give a big special shout out to Miss Smoke. That's Charlene. That's Miss Smoke. She brought all the flame at the 400th West Flame. Like, she was tired like I'm tired. She brought all the smoke.
Yes, she was.
Miss Smoke.
I want to follow up on the point that you made, Tawanda, about the Mosbys and the investigation. It turns out that the federal prosecutor, a guy named Wise, that he at one time in the past, he was in charge of this ethics unit in the National Congress, and he was investigating 8 different people, and every one of those 8 was African American. And so I think you're correct that one of the reasons he's going after the Mosbys is due to racism, no doubt. But on the other hand, we know that Mosby is guilty of not prosecuting Ruiz or any of these other cops that took Tyrone's life. And that needs to happen. And the reason we're focusing on Ruiz is because this past summer a video came out where he pulled a gun and aimed it, as you've seen in the video we show at the beginning and end of this program. He pulled it out, aimed it directly at the head of a victim that he and several other cops were holding down, and told the crowd who was angry about the mistreatment, you better back the fuck up, excuse my language. And his implication was clear: if you don't do what I'm telling you, I can shoot this guy. And so because that came out, we felt like, although there were 11 or 15 cops that took Tyrone's life, that we want to focus on getting him prosecuted at this point in time and then work on the others. So we're still pushing for that. Anyone watching this program who wants to help, please reach out to Marilyn Mosby. Tell her we need to prosecute Ruiz. He's got to be in jail, first on trial, then in jail for the murder of Tyrone West. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mike.
And thank you, Uncle Bill, for sharing that. And that is true. She been should have did that. The same way she used that energy to go after Keith Davis Jr., which is a free man. She needs to let him go and admit and tell all the dirt that all these crooked cops that she know is doing, and stop putting on his facade. But again, I'll say, whenever black folks do stuff, the same stuff that white folks do, they put them on a whole nother mission. And be clear, they always try to use black people pain for their gain. You know, meanwhile, they're trying to push, and let's be clear, they're trying to push Greg Bernstein back into office. This is a known white racist who I'll be sitting outside of his goddamn house. Let's be clear, and I don't care. I hope you're watching this, Greg Bernstein, because the same way we ran your ass out the first time, we're going to run you out again. So if that's their sick motive and plan, you ain't getting back in there, buddy. And if you do, we're going to run you out again. Be clear on that. We're going to run you out again. Because they know that he is a big voice for the FOP. He's a joke. He laughed at Anthony Anderson face, disrespected my family face, disrespected every last one of my family members in our face. I'm sorry. In our face. And mainly, and I'm mad because 2 of my loved ones that was at that disgusting table are no longer here. You know, when Aunt Diane broke down and she was crying real bad, along with my Uncle Clifton, may he rest in heaven. You know, he was rubbing my arm back, and if you see him on that video, when we close out, you'll see the guy with the brim, because he always kept the nice brim hats and things of that nature, but he always helped, you know, console our family. He was rubbing his sister back, which is my auntie, and he's rubbing her back, and Greg Disrespectful Bernstein had the nerve to tell my family, well, guess what? Y'all can leave, because my auntie ran out, because when he said, you know what, I'm just going to be on, after he went around the table, If you see the ghost of Tyrone West, y'all saw the video, but y'all actually need to go on Baltimore Block and y'all can see how my family was disrespected. And a big shout out to Pie if you're watching. I love you, Pie. Pie was jumping over cars for the West family, and I will never, ever forget him for that. And I will always uplift his name. He was true to the game, as he always is to anybody. Any type of injustice, he always backs and put his body on the line. He put his body on the line for Keith Davis Jr. and he was there for my big brother, literally. Video on I think, had it not been, I give Baltimore Block, everybody from Baltimore Block's props because they gave the real news when the media was being shady and shysty. He was out there videoing us every week. That's how West Wendy was actually video through Baltimore Block at first. The same way Ben is doing. A shout out to Ben, who's going hard. Shout out to everybody from the West Coalition, from you, Uncle Bill, Hillary, Dan, everybody, Charlene, all of y'all. I love each and every last one of y'all. Y'all go hard for the cause, but again, I'm giving him a shout out because had it not been for Pie jumping over top, and he sold that video where he disrespected my family. So in the first part of the video, what I was saying was he told us, hey, y'all go on and introduce yourself. And that was just a way to find out our names. And as we went around the table, then he saw Pie in with his camera. He said, turn that off. We're not going to be videoing this. And if you do it, then he made a threat like he was all like, if you video this, I'm going to prosecute you. That's what he said. That part wasn't recorded because Pie respected what he said, turned the camera off. And as soon as that damn camera went off, we didn't even wait 2 minutes into the conversation. We couldn't even get comfortable in our chairs. He said, well, I'll just let y'all know before you guys get comfortable in the chairs, I'm not prosecuting anyone that murdered Tyrone. I'm not going to prosecute them, but this makes good for a civil case. And my aunt got up like, well, you freaking kid, you gonna disrespect me. So she got up and ran, and everybody ran. And I'm standing there, and then the crazy part, an office space that could actually hold 25 people. He literally disrespected the West family and said, I can only bring 5 of my damn family members to that meeting. And I chose to bring Pie because I wanted him to record everything. And I brought only 4 of my family members. It wasn't because I wanted to. We had about 30 family members standing outside. Literally standing outside while he told my family in 2 seconds he wasn't prosecuting anybody. So this is what I'm talking about. That's why they so in a hurry to get up out of there. That's why. So let's be clear. They're trying to get him back. So mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And real quick, I just want to add, let's be careful. So if you see, they keep on talking about the school where the young man had the low IQ and he was supposed to graduate. Then they said it was so low that, oh no, he's going to start all the way back over. And they keep using the family members to come up there and talk about the school and Fox 40 lies. They keep on saying, oh, we broke this story about what's going on. Let's be clear. They're trying to push the agendas because I just got one of those robocalls today from my children's school and one of my children's high school. They're actually trying to rename that high school. And they're saying like a lot of these historic schools, they're actually trying, which we've been to, we've seen that they like are knocking these schools down, but they're basically, to me, trying to wipe all Black people away that ever put skin in the game, as Boom was said. Anybody that puts skin in the game on some type of level or whatever, they're wiping them out. They're wiping these schools out and renaming them. It's a part of their plan. It's part of this dirty ass system plan. So just be clear on who uses our pain for their game. When they start talking about stuff so much and focusing in on, y'all need to focus in on what is their motive. Why are they looking at the schools? What are they trying to do? But meanwhile, when the schools didn't have heat, hot water, all this, that, and the third, they didn't focus in on it then. They didn't give a damn. They didn't give a damn if some kids were sitting in the school with their coats on in the wintertime and burning up in the summertime. They didn't give a damn. But now all of a sudden, y'all care about the school. Project Baltimore reported. No, get out of here with the foolishness. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. We have a couple more comments. On Facebook, Hillary says, because of complexion, you get a true connection. Absolutely true, we do. And this needs to change. Miss Smoke Charlene says, don't forget that Greg Bernstein is also complicit in his handling of the Park Heights incident involving a Black youth. And on YouTube, AC says, We should be equal opportunity with the killer cops. The white sidekick of Killer Ruiz is Nathan Ulmer. Ulmer was involved in many of the car stops that escalated into beatings. Mic check.
Mic check. Yes, Officer Ulmer was, as well as Killer Nicholas David Chapman, because all of them were partners, so they definitely was. He definitely is right about that. Mic check.
Mic check.
All right, so moving on, Brother Brian, do you have that sad, horrible list of the homicides in the city?
I do. It's a longer list this week. It's always a hard list to go through, and I've said my piece before many times. It's there's only one fight. It's just people against the empire, and it's just different aspects, whether it's pollution, police killing, redlining. All of this is just a way of dividing us and separating us and oppressing people to accumulate power at some level. So in that struggle this week, we've lost the following people: Cameron Green, 22.
Cameron Green.
22.
Randolph Jones, 39.
Randolph Jones, 39.
Craig Underwood, 35.
Craig Underwood, 35.
Davon Little, 30.
Davon Little, 30.
Nathaniel Brown, 28.
Nathaniel Brown, 28.
Danye Conyers, 23.
Danye Conyers, 23.
Matthew Blevins, 33.
Matthew Blevins, 33.
Danita Barrett, 21.
Danita Barrett, 21.
Thank you.
Thank you. And again, my heart, my prayers, and my thoughts are with those families. And it's unfortunate, it's probably more names than that because sometimes the media doesn't keep up. They keep up, but they don't want us to know all the names all at once because it'll really freak you out. But just think about it, someone, family member that was just here that is no longer. Somebody was probably planning on spending time with their family, growing, an unsaid joke or anything that they didn't even get to tell that loved one, but yet they're gone. They're planning a funeral. This is sad and disgusting. And meanwhile, look at the complexion, look at the connection. When we had the white the white top cop, Kevin Davis, which he should have been fired because so many people were getting murdered and he didn't do anything. But you bring a black commissioner in here, same thing. People are getting murdered. To me, it seems like even more, and he still got a job. Like, are you freaking kidding me? He still got a job. They don't give a damn. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Uncle Bill, do you have that sad, horrible list of the police brutality victims?
Yes, I do. One sec. So we're starting with the people that were killed, whose lives were stolen by the police on March the 15th. And we're going up through the 26th. And this comes from the Washington Post. They've listed 20 people whose lives were stolen. I'll be reading their names to uplift them now. First, on March the 15th, 62 years old. And if we can repeat the name to uplift him, Stephen Hughes.
Stephen Hughes.
The next person, also on March the 16th, in Los Angeles, California, 37 years old, unfortunately has not been identified as of yet, and we cannot uplift his name. Similarly, on the March 16th in Hayward, California, another man was murdered by police. We cannot uplift his name either because he has not yet been identified. In Wiley, Texas, 36 years old, on March the 17th, killed by police, Sean Myers.
Sean Myers.
On March the 17th in Pensacola, Florida, another man killed by police. Unfortunately, we can't uplift his name either. He has not yet been identified officially in any source available to us. On March the 17th in Devils Lake, North Dakota, 44 years old, David Suarez.
David Suarez.
On March the 18th in Miami, Florida, another person not as yet identified, and I'm sorry we cannot uplift his name. On March the 18th in Pasadena, Maryland, 79 years old, Leonard John Popa.
Leonard John Popa.
On March the 18th, once more in Arlington, Texas, 46 years old, Juan Jimenez Salas.
Juan Jimenez Salas.
On the 19th of this month in Los Angeles, California, another person whose life was taken by the police, unfortunately, has not yet been identified. On the 20th in Odenville, Alabama, 41 years old, Gerald Marlin.
Gerald Marlin.
On March 20th in Centerville, Georgia, 48 years old, Sean Evanuk.
Sean
Evanuk.
And just in case anyone is just joining us, we're reading the names of people whose lives have been stolen by the police around the United States just in the very recent weeks. The next person, Hudson, Florida, 79 years old, James Zambrano.
James Zambrano.
In Sylvania Township, Ohio, on the 21st, 24 years old, Eduardo Parra.
Eduardo Parla.
On the 23rd in Anderson, Indiana, 60 years old, lives also stolen by the police, Silas Myers.
Silas Myers.
On the 23rd in Jacksonville, Missouri, I'm sorry, M.O. That's Montana, is that right? Does anyone know? I'm not sure about the state, forgive me. March the 23rd, 44 years old, David Hill.
David Hill.
David Hill.
Missouri.
Okay, thank you. And the last four people are all unidentified as of yet. On March 24th in Fremont, California, was one person whose life was stolen by police. On the same day in Forest Park, Illinois, another man, life stolen by the police. Next, in King George County, Virginia, a life stolen by police. This was March the 25th, also unidentified as of yet. And in St. Charles, Missouri, another person as yet unidentified. And we have to add to this list someone from Virginia Beach, from the area where one of our activists in West Wednesday grew up. And his name is Donovan Lynch. And he was a cousin of a musician who's well known. And we'll be hearing more about him and what happened next week. I just want to mention that for those that want to participate and learn more about revolutionary communist politics and how to get rid of this awful system and build a sisterly, brotherly world, next week after West Wednesday, we'll have the challenge discussion and everyone's invited. That's it. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Yes, go for it.
So, for those of you who caught the broadcast last week was the 400th week that the West Coalition has been fighting this cause. So if you caught the broadcast, you'll know that we met up at the monument that is being renamed in Baltimore for the victims of police violence. And on that monument, when we got there, someone had put up a chain and padlocked it to the fence around the monument. And padlocked to the chain were dozens and dozens of names of people who were killed by the police. This was done in a memorial for those victims. In less than 5 or 6 days, somebody, a fascist, a coward, went out and with bolt cutters cut through the chain and the padlocks and took them off the monument. In order for them to do that, they would have had to been going by there quite frequently, or maybe they saw this broadcast. Maybe they're watching this right now. So if you are watching this right now, I'm just going to remind you that if you blindly support the police and their murderous actions, you're a fascist. And I also like to remind you that you're supposed to lick the boot, not de-throat it. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
I can't believe it's sucking down. This is news to me. Oh my God, like that's disgusting. And this is the second time they did that, because I remember one time before we went there around Christmas time, the holiday time, and they had a makeshift memorial where somebody called and said, "Go up there, you guys. I'd love to see this." And they had all the names of victims of police brutality and some nice lights, and that was took down immediately, like on a holiday. Like, are you freaking kidding me? That's disgusting. So shame on them. Shame. They better hope one day their loved one name is not placed upon a damn lock or a picture. They better hope. They better hope. That's disgusting. That just messed up my life. That's horrible. That is terrible. And then I'm wondering if it's the same people that went in with the cutters that went into the John Hopkins Center. They used cutters. They go in there and abuse the students before the police came. And I guarantee you they were sent by the police, because they were sent by the professors. They basically had them go in there to try to traumatize and terrorize the John Hopkins students. And then the protesters that were peacefully protesting. And I'll never forget how they did poor Opal. Took and arrested her, but these killer cops are still walking the damn beat. Disgusting. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic
Mic
check.
check.
And I just want to add real fast, Uncle Bill, when you were reading that horrible, sad list, I noticed that you said 2 people were 79 years old killed by the police. Just imagine if your grandmother, your great uncle, or somebody like that actually made it to be 79 years old. And the damn police coming. It doesn't matter what age, but they don't even care. They don't even care if they kill a baby, an elderly person. They don't give a damn. And the interesting thing, there was so many unidentified names. They know who the hell they are. As soon as they murder the people, they know who the hell they are. That's the Doug and Pony Show. And then one of the cases, you said one of the victims is 37, but they ain't have a name. So how the hell you know they 37? How the hell you know they 37? Like, the Doug and Pony Show is real, man. It's disgusting. It's horrible. But keep in mind, if we don't fix this horrible picture that's truly connected, and you'll be a fool if you think community violence and the purge, because all this ain't community violence, and the purge. That's why I've been putting up my pictures lately, and I keep saying the purge is real. It's definitely real, and I said it, and I've been saying it and saying it week after week after week after week. Because the first thing that happens is when any black person is killed in the community, all you hear is somebody say, "We need to stop killing each other." You ain't even caught no damn body. You don't have no facts. You don't know who is what. Before they even catch the victim, before they catch the suspect, the victim family trying to bury them. We need to stop killing each other. All this black. Get out of here. The purge is real. All this not us. All this is not us. We need to find these serial killers. And I want to see one of the serial killers' face. I still want to see Joshua Green. What is it going to take for me to see Joshua's green face? They won't even show his family member's face. That's how you know they hiding this whiteness. They showing statements. Get out of here. So again, it's real. I just want to ask y'all, the question now becomes, which list do you want your family member, your loved one, your friend to be on? Which list? Because even which one of them is a horrible damn list. Even which one of them is somebody family member's life has changed over. Something that started off as a beautiful day turned into a damn nightmare and forever marked. That death date, that murder date does something different to a family. I'm telling you, it traumatizes them forever, even down to the time when your loved one is murdered. Every time I see the date or the number 718, whether it's on the clock, anything, my heart just go. I can't stop there. I can't breathe at that moment. If I just glance up and I look at 718 on the time where I ride past and I see the number 718, I'm devastated. Whenever I get a call at 12:19 in the morning, I think about my cousin Tape. I'm scared to answer my goddamn phone. Trauma is real. And the saddest part, we have to live through it over and over and over again. We're traumatized and nobody provides us help, nothing. Their answer is always money. Money don't fix nothing. Because guess what? If your family members and loved ones can't enjoy it, take your money and stick it where the sun don't shine. It ain't about none of it, but this is a big capitalist system that don't give a damn about us. All it values is dollars and money. It doesn't care about us at all. It doesn't care about us. It does not care about it. And these racist people they back this capitalist system. That's how they make the racist stuff happen. That's how it's divide and conquer game. But it all surrounds this big umbrella and says capitalist, and everything is under this umbrella. All the palm, everything, all that. The have and the have nots. It's a damn shame. So if anybody else have anything to add, I'm not gonna hold anybody. I done went off all night, but I just asked, do anybody want to add anything? And Marcus, do we have any more comments or questions?
Yes, we do. We have a couple comments on Facebook. Charlene said all the universities in the city that could have partnered with the primary education public schools to help better the education, but didn't. Who's ready for that discussion? Gretchen said, wouldn't it be something if they put as much effort into police reform? Referring to the fascists who use the bolt cutters to cut the locks. On YouTube, Anonymous, somebody on YouTube says, love you, Tawanda. I can't really see what their name is. Said, Hopkins did you dirty.
Thanks.
Mic check.
Mic check. And again, we want to thank you because you bring the flame to West Wednesday now. We're reading the comments. I'm just looking at like all the dedication as a coalition members that we bring and provide to this space. That we started off with this when we ran then with the pandemic. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to do it. Shout out to Uncle Bill, who basically, I forgot what app we used to use at first. And he had all the beautiful pictures up there and racist killing cops. And then I started to get blocked off that. And then it started with Ben, my brother Ben, just from, okay, this is the week that I don't have my kids on. So I'll do this to now. It's every week, flame and fire, and it's just growing. And we're touching people around the world. Dan with organizer being the side, like you don't ever see Dan face too much, but believe you me, he's definitely working, him and Hillary and just everybody. So I'm just like thankful. And another thing, and I'm definitely truly gonna wrap up. I looked at like, cause that's why I love looking at memories on Facebook and things like that. So I looked at like last year this time when the pandemic, when everybody was unsure where we was gonna be, and everybody was really scared and traumatized. The numbers were really low. I'm talking about maybe 250 and like real low. And we were like, oh my God, I'm not moving. I'm not going anywhere or nothing. And now we're like frogs in a pot just waiting to die. And we, even though I know good shout out to whoever want to get the vaccine. Y'all get it, y'all go. Y'all truth and peace. I'm not getting it. But anyway, but I'm just saying the numbers are beyond like outrageous. But yet we're cool with that. We're forced to go back to work. We're forced. People are still dying. You get what I'm saying? That's why I shout out anybody that's trying to say, you know what? If there's anything that I can do in my human possibilities to make it so that I won't pass this disease, So I give you guys all a shout out because that vaccine is real. I heard anybody like getting sick from it, can't eat for a few days, feeling real weak. So I give you guys a big shout out, for anybody that definitely get the vaccines and things like that, especially not even sure what you're putting in your body. You definitely got a real MVPs. Got a real ones. But meanwhile, I'm just looking at how the world makes us think, and that's through the television. They fool us with stuff, and they play mind games, and we as people, we believe what they say. We taking everything they say as the Bible, as God. Like no matter what they say, like literally, we were all shaking in our boots, and the numbers wasn't even as high as 250. 250 deaths. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going out. I'm staying in. I'm watching it. And now it's like people back out, and the numbers are high as high. They're like, and ain't a damn thing curved yet. Only thing curving us going around that curve, going to work, going to the store, and praying we don't get something. This is sickening, man. But this is our reality. So I said all that to say, be your own conscious consumer. Don't let them use our pain for their gain. That's exactly what they're doing. So do anybody have anything else that they want to say in our final close?
I just want to follow up on a comment which said that Hopkins did you dirty, Tawanda, because for those that know Tawanda, she's a modest, humble person and doesn't like to brag, but I'm going to brag for her a little bit now because when the students had to sit in at Johns Hopkins, they had 3 demands, all of them against racism. One of them was accountability for Tyrone West. One was against contracts with ICE. Hopkins was doing research to support the attacks on immigrants. And third one slips me for the moment. So I think it was the 300th West Wednesday, and it may have been May Day also. And Ron Daniels, president of Johns Hopkins, sends a message through lawyers to Tawanda's lawyers saying, if you step on this campus tonight, we're going to have you arrested for trespass. And a lot of people would have backed down, but Tawanda said, I'm not scared of that Ron Daniels. Who does he think he is? And she led a large group of people after we rallied back onto the campus and into that occupied building, supporting those demands. And that's the kind of boldness that we need. And I'm really honored to be working with you, Tawanda, and as someone that demonstrates that boldness routinely.
Thank you, Uncle Bill. And then last but not least, on that note, I just thank you for actually putting the idea and for people, because I was so like just overwhelmed, like how dare, shame on him for sending me a threat. It made me want to get out. I couldn't wait. As soon as my attorney called me with that foolishness, I actually clocked out early from work. I'm like, I gotta go. Can I please leave? I couldn't wait to go there. That just got me wanting pumped up even more. Like, if I'm not scared of the man, the police, the FOP, who the hell is Ron? I'm not scared of Ronnie D. Like, bring it. Like, I've been wanting to smoke years ago. Like, so long story short, with that being said, but I thank you because with me being hot-headed, I'm like, I'm ready to leave. But Uncle Bill was like, no, he got a bunch of volunteers say, well, let's walk Tawana to a car to make sure she's safe and things like that. And I'll never forget, and that's why we named one of our friends Go Hard, and it was Opal, and it was Uncle Bill and a few other of us, and we were all walking to my car, and as we were walking, we saw a city cop pulling in on the hiking ground, but it seemed like when it saw us, it saw a ghost, and it instantly busted U-turn and went back around the corner. We like, that was weird. And then as we go, and we're walking, my car's parked in the dark, and literally not even 50 feet, there's a white man and his son screaming racist things at us, waiting, and actually swung on women. So I just thank you, Uncle Bill, for being me, like being a voice that kept me safe that night. Because God forbid, just like even when we went to Annapolis, I turned up, I had the mic, and I was like, you know what? Let me give it to David Lewis while I'm out here. I don't care if he out here working today or not. This is day. So when it was my turn to speak on the mic, I'm sorry I got a little ghetto. Yes, I did. I got ghetto on the microphone. And I'm like, David Lewis, I know who the bleep you are, and I know what the bleep you did. What's up? And long story short, we had this one white racist man that's going to actually be the only idiot out there with no face mask covering whatsoever. People asked him several times, a creepy guy. And thank God for my sister Adina. She was ready to swing, man. That's my queen. She came and who asked as soon as I went over there, and I'm not even watching myself. So shout out to Adina. She actually followed us over there because this creep jumps in front of me, in front of the police. They're not saying nothing, talking about you're going about this wrong. Stop it, stop it. I'm like, get out my face. Put a mask on, Mr. COVID. But anyway, moving right on. So again, I want to thank each and every last one of you guys. Remember, even though like I'm angry, but at the same time, I'm always, always, always a believer of giving love and being in a positive, direction and just thinking positive thoughts. Because if we let hatred take over, I'm not a hateful person. Yes, I dislike a lot of things that happen to people, humans. That's because I'm a loving person, but I don't hate anyone at the end of the day. I never ever been anti-police. I've been anti-police brutality. That's a big difference because throughout this fight, I have met beautiful people that wear blue. That said, you know what? Then they came on Westify. I'm just Westify. Came on West Wednesday to testify and say, you know what? I had to get out of there. And like shout out to my brother Ken. He used to be a police, to a detective, to all that. Shout out to Joe Crystal. I love that guy. You know what I mean? So I got a lot of law enforcement people that I love Kelly but the reason why I love them is they don't have no problem with calling out when they see something wrong. That's why I love them. But if you stand there and you see something wrong and you don't say nothing, guess what? You're dirty. So on that note, they need to reopen all these damn cases, keep George Floyd family in prayer. Not only just George Floyd family, but keep all of our families in prayer. But my heart really goes out to George Floyd family because right now they have to relive that pain and trauma of hearing about their loved one who didn't ask to be murdered. He never asked for Derek to put his foot in his neck and to cry and scream for his dead mama. He ain't screamed for nobody. He screamed for his dead mama. And last but not least, I just want to say there was a young man that testified that did the video footage. And they was trying to wear him down. And I saw that part and it made me disgusted. Because I was ready to smack my TV screen off. Just like I was ready to smack the 545 reporters for not showing me Joshua Green or Josiah Green or whatever his name. I'm horrible with names. Everybody know this. But anyway, I was so mad they tried to basically attack him. They're like, well, why would you call 911? You saw a bunch of officers there on the scene. What made you prompt it? He said, because I believe when I saw a murder occurring. He said, I felt compelled to call 911. I would have said they standing there watching them. He should have called on every last one of them. I probably would have got ghetto on that stand, man. I can't wait till my brother trial. I'm going in. I can't wait to Tavon Anderson trial. I'm going in. So that's all I got to say. We not going to stop. We can't stop. We won't stop till killer cops are in cell block. To anybody that murder anybody is in a damn cell block. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
We have a couple more comments. AC says, new term, Westify. And Charlene Miss Smoke says, who's scared of Ronnie D? Not the West Coalition. And Anonymous says, thanks y'all. Much love.
Well, thank you guys. I love you all. Live to love you all. And remember, please stay tuned and watch the same video that we show week after week. Please share this. Please share this because we're determined to have Marilyn Mosby do her job. And Miss Marilyn Mosby, if you're watching this while you're in the hot seat, this is a chance to get your ass out of some stuff. Go after while you talking about you're not convicting all this and you're not doing that. Come on the news. I want to see the day you come on the news and you say, I'm going to prosecute Ruiz. That's a start. That's a start. I'm giving you some starting points. So you should listen, sis. I'm giving you some starting points. and then free Keith Davis Jr. And give you some start points. And you might have a big community to back you against the foolishness. I'm trying to tell you, I'm just being real. So we open all the cases, live to love, love to live, and I will see you guys. We will see you guys next time. Remember, this is a day that we never seen. This is a day that we will never ever see again. So live to love to live. We will see you next week. But remember, share this video because unfortunately, there are victims that we are showing you that is on this video that even happened. Like I always say that Adina happened, and you heard me say that Adina's case happened before my brother. Well, I was confused on that. I knew something. Her case actually happened in 2015 after my brother. But the fact that I didn't know I was gonna meet this beautiful queen. I didn't know this, but I knew that there's so many victims that were on the hands of Ruiz. So I got it wrong. I definitely said that her case happened, leading up to my brother's case, but I'm coming back. I'm doing a recheck. It didn't happen. Her case happened in 2015, and I'm still praying for her and her family. But there were other Joseph Green, James Green, that I definitely knew about, and Abdul Salam on July the 1st. Those are the cases that I know about. We don't know if some more cases that was out of those 18 cases that I told you guys that Ruiz had. We don't know if some was even leading up to my brother, but those are the names that I do know that happened leading up to my brother. And Darrell Harris. I know Darrell Harris, Joseph Green, James Green, and Abdul Salam leading up to my brother. So watch this and make sure you give Marilyn Mosby a call. Tell her why she in that hot seat. Make it right. Mic check. Watch. Stay tuned to the video.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And Mr. West begging for his life, and Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and them large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the Gun Trace Task Force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salam vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the Officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam, and my sister Dina and her family. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardes Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.